Thank you, thank you. So, thank you for the introduction. First of all, I have to apologize for being a bit late. Work happened, and I hope I'm not holding you from the lunch break. Before testing first. So before I begin, I want to give a bit of an introduction and tell you about myself. AI and generative AI are topics that are being spoken everywhere across the world, especially since the advent of ChatGPT just about over 18 months ago. And I put this presentation together with a view of understanding why AI and generative AI are critical. Every leader is worried about making sure they grab its opportunity in helping create or reimagine the future of banking and financial services in general. So I look after, I'm a Chief Data Analytics Officer across First and Risk, and my responsibility is to ensure data, AI, and other capabilities are helping us become proactive, efficient, and effective in the way we manage a lot of risks, which include financial crime, emerging risks such as cybersecurity, climate risk, as well as IT and operational risk. So I've got quite a simple agenda, and I'll try and make sure that I save on a lot of your time. I'll do a brief introduction of AI and generative AI, and maybe give a bit of a motivation why the new reality, or this new reality that is making every single investor worry about not being left behind. Maybe some sort of fear of missing out, but also there is a reality that is driving that. Then how do you go about strategies, and give a few examples, and we'll talk about areas of innovation where we're seeing AI play a major role, including risk management in identification and assessment of risks to drive efficiency ways of doing these things, and then maybe finish with how is AI enabling what we call contextual banking. And I'm sure in some way or the other, we've heard of the terms contextual banking, right? Cool, so let's get going. AI. It's something that I said is being spoken about. And the reality is that we've seen a lot of investment in decisions in this technology, a technology that deals with enabling systems, processes, or machines execute human intelligence. This could be decision making, generating language, translating language, generating voice, right? And this technology, based on what we've seen, one peculiar thing that has come up as compared to other previous technologies is a technology that is seen to be reimagining or even disrupting every single industry. We cannot talk about AI and forget about machine learning and deep learning. Machine learning is a subset of AI that deals with helping machines learn from data and make decisions with minimal human supervision. I think the banking sector is already aware of credit scoring. A long time ago, the credit scoring process was a very judgmental one. The credit scoring system now leverages data because these algorithms have been trained to learn from data and make these decisions the way people used to do in the judgment process. And then deep learning is a subset of machine learning that basically is motivated by the structure of the brain. That's why sometimes they call them deep neural networks, because we use neurons to process information and make decisions, like identifying buildings and identifying other objects. Then, the new child on the block, generative AI. It's a group or subset of AI models that basically deal with generating content or generating new data. This data could be insights, could be numbers, could be text, or for paragraphs, the same way human beings would have actually generated the same information. I want to spend a minute or two on this slide and maybe ascertain why generative AI is seen as a game changer. So if you look at ways of work and the way we human beings interact, there is a lot of language involved. There's a lot of sourcing of data and information before we make decisions. And that process, those processes are seen as a big opportunity for organizations to pursue new markets, organizations to design better products, experiences. When ChatGPT was launched, we all could not believe how this technology creates, these paragraphs that are very human-like. And basically, organizations have gone about it in different ways. Some have said, we're going to do what? To leverage models that have been pre-built by the likes of OpenAI or even Facebook today, to do what? To be able to automate how we collect information, automate how we do research so that people can focus on things that require thinking and shift them from tasks that are doing, which can now be generated by this technology. Some organizations, and we're seeing them actually succeed much faster, have decided to develop in-house capabilities to develop what are called small language models. So large language models are developed from large data sets. The current models have been developed from 200 years worth of data. But some use cases you'll see in finance are very specific. Like, for example, a credit report is very specific. It's not general type of language that is on the web. We've got like legal language that is very specific. So they are developing their own internal models to be able to do that. So generative AI is seen as a transformer of the future employee, shifting them to apply their mind, to make better decisions, to spend less time making errors or correcting errors. But while the benefits you see on the side are very clear, every leader has to worry about what could go wrong. Safety, ethics, compliance, unintended consequences, but also the cost of what could go wrong. The question is, why is everyone worried about AI? Not because AI is AI. The reality of what we're facing today is what is pushing leaders. The reality of the fact that the geopolitical relationships that we're seeing are introducing complexities. Interest rates are changing across the world and cascading, in countries like South Africa. And they're directly affecting how banking operates, like, for example, sanctions and things like that. Then we've got the economic issues as well as interrelations. So today, some of the issues you're seeing in Ukraine, Russia, have a direct impact of how the finance sector has to do business across the world. There's certain sanctions or other things we have to incorporate in our business. Then the customer of today has become so unique. They like uniqueness. They like cultural considerations. They want unique products to identify them for who they are and how they behave. So a blanket approach will not work anymore. Technology itself is creating expectations. A few years ago, in the banking sector, if you automated checking your balance, it was the coolest thing ever. It was a very nice thing. Today, people expect the digital experience because everyone has an access to a device, right? But they don't just expect it to be digitized, they expect it to be personalized. They expect it to align to their needs. And because other organizations can offer same products with very much ease, the competition is a fingerprint away or a tap away. That's what is introducing complexity. But also, the hype and investments around AI is shifting. Money is moving them to the likes of America, the US, where we're seeing a lot of successes in the AI. So this is almost a shift of investment. This introduces complexity of due diligence, understanding how this cash flow is moving, and then quickly, environmental issues like climate change, emerging risks are coming from technology as well as the legal landscape. This complexity has meant that financial institutions have to be more efficient. They have to make sure that they are spending less by automating things and allowing people to focus on things where they are required to. It has meant that organizations have to leverage technology to save more and translate those savings into cheaper products. It has meant that financial institutions have to be proactive and avoid the reactive mentality, because being proactive is much easier to manage risk. It also promotes desirability and promotes safety within organizations. The opportunities for AI come from this reality, nowhere else, right? And that's why we've seen so much investment from every single sector. And we're going to see these numbers grow because no organization wants to be left behind, but also disruption is happening at a very fast rate. McKinsey, the likes of PwC, estimate that the current reality, the opportunities that lie within it, present a $1 trillion opportunity. Obviously, we're not able to defend the science behind these numbers. The reality is that there's a magnitude of opportunity, but you have to do everything correctly to get it right. And that's why you have to look at AI from a value perspective. If you look at it from a technology perspective, you're likely to get caught up in the hype of, oh, it's a cool thing, it generates text, it can generate an image. But you have to clearly articulate what the value tech is bringing. Is it driving efficiency? Is it driving effectiveness? Are you driving digital innovation? Are you enabling your experts within your organization to leverage this technology so that they can execute their role much more effectively? So how do you strategize with AI? As I said, there's two things. One, make it a value conversation. The mistake we make it a technology conversation, and you end up investing everything around technology. And by value means selecting or understanding where the opportunities of how your organization will leverage AI to support the wider organizational strategy. So you're a marketing company, your opportunities lie in your strategy for marketing. If you're a risk management area, your opportunities lie in risk management. The second part, which is a big building block, but you must bring it up front, is making sure people have an understanding of what AI is. At First Run Group, we've been very, very aggressive with AI literacy. We want people to understand AI, how AI works. Because for someone to use something, they need to know its limitations. They need to know how it works, what are the building blocks. Other building blocks that we must think of include data, because the data is the fuel of AI, ethics and legal implications. Now that you've got generative AI, the right technologies, as well as empowering, especially your frontline staff, to understand how AI works. Because if your frontline staff don't use AI, you're not able to integrate it into the way the organization works, and you're not able to realize its benefits. These are the building blocks, not just the technology. So let's look at some of the areas of innovation. And the finance area, I have to say this, is one of the industries that is very behind on innovation with AI. Only 1% of financial institutions across the world have evidence of transforming their organizations with AI. 1%. The automobile industry is sitting at 10%. So my team is sitting there, and I'm always very proud of them, because it's 100 times more difficult to integrate AI and transform the organization. So it starts from onboarding, and this is with the need of driving the digital experience of onboarding customers, but also we're seeing a lot of organizations being subjected to complex forms of fraud. So by just looking at ID document or password, it doesn't make it safer, right? The deep learning algorithms are well placed to extract data out of these documents and use them within machine learning algorithms to probabilistically determine, is this the right person? Is the document being tampered with? And also to facilitate, as I said, that fast processing of processes within the banking institution. Then risk management. You won't believe it. Organizations spend 20% of their operational risk budget on fraud losses. And today we're seeing some of the regulatory compliance requirements become so complex. And if organizations have to do things the old way, they will not be able to have a business. What these machine algorithms do here is they help organizations rank the correct or the accurate fraudulent cases so that the investigative teams can deal with these cases much more quicker and make decisions faster. In the process of risk assessment, so before I go there, when organizations have to identify these risks, they identify them, then they have to assess them. So you identify that there's risk, and then you have to assess that something is wrong. The process of assessment is very lengthy sometimes. Involves putting together a lot of data and putting reports together. Some of the generative AI capabilities today are being overlaid there to provide more context, to allow consistent decision making. So those two areas are streamlining risk decisioning. And if you think critically, a bank or a financial institution exists because of risk. We talked about conduct risk, and the previous speaker did an amazing job. We enter contracts with customers every time we onboard them. We say, we're going to price you this amount. We're going to make sure we give you the right product. We're not going to give you a product so they can make profit. But it's impossible to monitor that. So think about it. If you've got 10 million customers, how do you do that for every customer? So today, we are able to automate compliance monitoring. And when you look on the right there, ranging from National Credit Act, RICA, FATCA, there's lots of them that we have to make sure we are compliant on. It's not easy. So this today can be easily automated. The bank, we've done that on a month-to-month basis. Instead of people doing this manually or using samples, you can do the same thing to provide assurance that you're running a very desirable business. Then what about providing products and services in line with customers' behaviors? Because when someone sometimes say, no, we're going to offer you the right product at the right time, in line with your needs, sometimes it's actually not practical. It's not practical because you need a means to do that. And AI today is providing a means to do that. How is it doing that? Instead of offering people products as a blanket approach, or instead of using these algorithms to identify your balance or right day, think of a company like Movin that was started by Brad King, who decided we would rather predict your need, predict when you're likely to buy a new house or go back to school, or a certain event is happening. And if we get that accurate, we can attach a product to that, right? And they use the technique called reinforcement learning, which uses your behavior to shape your need. And as you can see from the screenshot on the app, they first of all predicted, no, you're likely to go on a holiday. If you save this amount of money, you'll be able to afford this holiday. And overnight, 40% of their customers took these products. Why? Because they managed to find a way to align the product to the need. Because customers actually don't need the product. They need the product for the need, right? Then, I'll just rush through this quickly. Financial Times announced, the investment trading floors. This is an area that is complex because it doesn't just involve advising customers of investments, but it also involves settling deals. And today, in 2020, the robo-advisor investment market was at $8 trillion because technology is helping execute more deals, close some of the deals, and also providing trustworthy advice. This is UBS's trading floor in 2008, and you can see the impact of AI on the right. It doesn't mean it's taking away jobs. It just means people don't need to sit on the floor. They have to focus on complexity and dealing with new scenarios. Chatbots. Right? Engagement with customers. Today, customers are savvy. They want to understand their products. Natural language capabilities are helping understand customers' queries as well as respond to them timeously. And what you see on the right there is even some are leveraging ChatGPT to be able to automate interactions with customers so that they're, to provide that savvy experience. I like this. The payments is also being reimagined fully. If you go to China today, you actually do not need a bank card. You need your portfolio, but you don't even need the physical card to actually demonstrate that it's your product. So a lot of these organizations use facial recognition to identify you and get to your portfolio. Some even go as far as recommending which aisle you should walk through because they already know your shopping behavior. And as you can see on that clip, you actually need your biometrics to authorize your purchases. And this is actually happening today. You won't believe it. I used this clip 5 years ago to talk about the future, but it's already happening today. First, Amazon Go stores are already doing that. There's a very big potential of use case in the banking space. You can get this photo from BCG on potential opportunities for generative AI that range from engaging with customers, improving operational excellence. I've touched on some of them. But the reality of any strategy is that when you're identifying these opportunities, you need to articulate how you're measuring this. So just to finish off, what's been happening in the banking industry since the 1950s is that the value proposition of banking has been built around 3 or 4 aspects. It's a place where you do what? You go move money. It's a place where you go save money, right? Or it's a place where you go invest your money, right? And this has been iterating over years. The same product when the first mainframe was discovered, banking moved from one branch to being able to access your accounts, multiple branches. The internet came. The same value proposition was iterated in the internet. Then we've got cell phone banking today. So the finance industry did not discover these technologies. It's kept on iterating this value proposition. What AI and generative AI are doing is shifting the trust in banking from the product to the technology. Every use case I've given you there provides some sort of experience, which we call context. Everything. So we used to have the product as the safe value, your check account. Today, the product is moving behind and the technology is coming at the forefront to bring in context, because today, context is a measure of trust, and technology, AI, generative AI, are enabling that context to be able to personalize things, to be able to provide real insights, to be able to provide the digital experience, because the product is being standardized across. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how AI is enabling contextual banking in this AI era. Thank you so much. Do you have time for one question or two? I know we've run out of time.
We still have a chance for 1 or 2 questions. There are either 2 things. You understood everything, or you understood nothing, or you're just hungry. Okay, thanks, Doc.
Thank you so much.
Please stand here so that at least I can take a photo.